speak to women who are beautiful on the inside and out, walking with you on your transformative journey to your highest purpose. And good day, ladies. Now, I like to take preventative measures because I prefer to move in a way that so that I don't have to do it later. I don't have to do it when it's present. I can sense certain things, and sometimes, or usually, my intuition, or usually things that I sense or envision come to pass. So, in the book of Lilith, we had gone deep and, told my side. And this is before the truth comes out. How long, the gap between when I told the story and when the truth comes out, only Lord knows. I'm speaking in the present, and the truth will come out in the future, because everything that this Jezebel tried to prevent will inevitably unfold. And now I get to take a step back because my man is exposing her. She wants to control the narrative. She wants to play pretend, either to protect her image, reputation, to look good in front of her friends, or whatever the case may be. And she really soaked it in. She really tried to what is it when you do the most? She really did the most. And I was about to walk away. But my thing is, I want to hear it from his mouth. I want him to say it. I want him to say that you're together. That's my girlfriend and all type of stuff. But he hasn't said since y'all been together. Right now, he is exposing her. So I predict that she's gonna seek validation when things unfold. However, she's gonna do this, I don't know. I don't know how far somebody will be willing to go to protect themselves, protect their name, their reputation. And people will always try to dig. And I'm gonna just leave this here for you. I'm gonna just leave this right here. I live in a humble home. I live a humble life. Right now, I'm knitting a quilt. I'm making a quilt. This is the frame of the quilt that I'm making. I came up with my concept, and now I'm just creating it, and I'm learning as I go because I don't know how to make a circle with these things. I can make a circle with crochet, but knitting, That's going to be a challenge for me. And I made my design, and I'm loving the design, so I'm going with it. I live a humble life. I don't want no problems, no drama. Literally, I don't want no type of drama in my life. Lord knows how far somebody would go to protect their image that they've built off of lies. If you build an image off of lies, if you build a nation off of lies, then you have to keep telling lies in order to sustain that image. So you're telling me if somebody tells you truth, the whole foundation falls apart? The whole foundation falls apart if somebody tells the truth? So right now, I had sensed a few years ago that the devil was coming to collect. Then this year, I had another sense that the devil is here to collect. Somebody had built up the karma, somebody had racked up their debt, their spiritual debt, and it's time to collect. Now, I noticed that devil may not have been, or the Grim Reaper, death, is here to collect. And that energy is acting through people. Death of an image, death of a narrative. God knows how to punish people. You can think of many ways to punish a person, you know, looking at their deed and then punishing them in a way that you think is appropriate. But God knows what's a punishment for them. And the truth is coming out. You've already been warned. And I'm sure God did thy part to warn you on that end. You don't play in the spiritual realm. You're trying to play with somebody who has a relationship with God, and you're gonna get exposed in dreams and whatnot. You're trying to play in a relationship where two people don't play about each other. Now look at you. This is gonna be very embarrassing for you. And I made a song out of it and a podcast. He puts a 10 on everything. I don't know how I feel. Should I feel sorry for this person when they have been actively lying and deceiving people publicly? And because this was done publicly, your walk of shame has to be public. My phone's dying. Hold up. Hold on. Because I was going to make this a long conversation, pardon me. As pardon me while I sort out my life real fast. No. Okay. Because this was gonna be a bit of a conversation. I didn't want it to end too soon because my phone's dying. No. All over the place. No, listen. Hoping you can hear me. Because this is important. Because people like to use other people's lives as entertainment. But then you play with people who don't play. People like to mess around and find out, and then they find out that they mess with the right one. They gotta mess around and find out to find out that they messed with the right one. Now this is all perspective. This is all perspective. You see that this man is in love with somebody else and is actively working towards being with that person. You also see the person that he's working towards is doing the same thing. Anybody in the right mind will leave that man alone. But mind you, I said right mind. Because why would I want to stay in a relationship where somebody doesn't want to be with me and is actively trying to leave? Then you make yourself a burden. You make yourself a burden. Oh no, he's gotta take care of you. No, he's gotta stick around. No, he's gotta put on for your friends or whatever the case may be. The thing is about who I am as a person and who he is as a person. Our relationship is beyond the relationship. Our relationship is beyond the relationship. It ain't got nothing to do with us. But who will benefit from us being together? Not just our kids, not just us, but humanity, nations, or what the world, or whatever. You will have people believing in love again. You will have different initiatives and projects being created in order to get people out of poverty or hardship. Different charities shaking up the system. This is where our minds are. And you individually, you combine that with a visionary, well, two visionaries, and somebody who is already in the age where they are building. I'm in my planning age, he's in his building age. I'm very modest. I'm very subtle. And I do keep it quiet. You don't talk while you're eating. Saying that to say, if things are going great, and sometimes when things are going too good, you got to say you have to stay extra quiet. I hope you have your pen and paper out, and I hope you're taking notes. You have to stay extra quiet. When you got that lobster, you go to a restaurant and order that lobster. Don't take no pictures. Nobody needs to know you're living it up. Maybe take a picture for yourself, post it 5 years from now, maybe, I don't know. You would have to have a level of discernment. Sometimes you can move differently when you don't have that many eyes on you. But if you have intentions of being with somebody who already has 100K or 1 million followers on each platform, then you have to move strategically, because eventually that zero will turn to 100K real quick once the truth comes out. So you have to be real strategic. You have to be real careful what you put out. But with somebody who already has 10K or whatever and is careless with what they post, versus somebody who has zero, or right now I have 11 subscribers on YouTube, 500 followers on Instagram. I'm still very careful with what I post. Luckily I went to a school where they had like these 100 men and women on campus, and we had like motivational speakers come by, and people who would teach us certain things. And one thing that I remember in high school was to always be careful what you post, because these days your social media is your resume. So since then I've just been careful. And not only do you need to be careful with what you post, you need to be careful what you allow your friends to post and tag you in, because you can go to people's tags and see what they're up to. You want to be able to Google your name and have a good representation of yourself, a good public representation of yourself. Hold on to newspapers if you're ever in a newspaper article. I think I only have kept one newspaper article. I would have to find the others. But image image is important. The thing is, you are holding on to the truth. When you cultivate an image, let it be true. Let it be true to who you are, not who you think the world wants you to be. That's exhausting. And then try to be with somebody who has purpose, and you're still trying to find yourself in your almost 30. Where are you looking? You can't go to a different country to find yourself. You take yourself with you. Where could you possibly be where you have to go to a whole nother country to find yourself? You find yourself by sitting yourself down and spending time with yourself. Like any other, when you vet somebody, when you go on a date with somebody, when you are trying to, when you vet somebody, you're gathering data about that person. When you are finding yourself, quote unquote finding yourself, you're gathering data about yourself. What you like naturally, what you focus on, what you prioritize, what you gravitate towards, what you resonate with naturally. It's not, I mean, there is benefits to doing a bunch of things. It's just, in some cases, it's not effective when you have no direction. When it's like trying to hit a target with your eyes closed. I mean, I was lucky when I was a kid. My mom, she would always give me like this catalog or something, and she would be like, pick something that you like, and whatever you pick, you could do. I picked tennis. I always came across Zumba. Like I always saw Zumba, but I never done Zumba. Let me. What is Zumba? Hold on. Is it like working out and dancing at the same time, right? I always came across Zumba and wanted to do it, but never did it. Yeah, I like working out and dancing. Yeah, that looks pretty cool to me. I've always came across Zumba and it like piqued my interest, but I never did it. I did photography, archery, tennis, football, netball, track and field, rugby, boxing, gymnastics, ballet. I liked badminton, but I didn't really play badminton like that. I was in science club, swimming club, cooking club, fashion club, and art. I did art on the weekends. I was a part of a knitting circle when I was 9. Obviously, I was the youngest one there by like a few decades. By like a few decades, I was the youngest one there. And yeah, and now these days, I can confidently say I know. Oh, I used to play the flute, clarinet. I dabbled in drums and piano. And another instrument that goes like this with the three keys. Can never remember what it's called. Dabbled with the guitar, and now because I've done so much, I can confidently say that oh, I prefer this over this. I like this, and I would go back to this. I know that um, I like to knit. It eases my mind. I know that I like puzzles. You know, doing a lot of things allows you to use that data and apply deductive reasoning. Okay, I don't like this. I like this. I like this. But sometimes that could be really expensive. So it depends on what route you want to take. Because, like, say you you want to be an entrepreneur, and you don't really know yourself yet, so you do a whole bunch of businesses, and none of them quite hit. None of them that spark. Nothing. None of them really get you out of your bed. Like Drake says, hop up, hop up out my bed like I'm possessed. None of them really hit like that. And you done did spent hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars on businesses because you was trying to find yourself. That's what I mean. Sometimes taking that route could be very expensive. So you gotta sit with yourself. At first, it's very difficult. You get restless. You want to do stuff. That means it's working. Did you know that? If you sit down and you want to do a whole bunch of stuff, that means it's working. They say that for medicine. If you put it on the wound and it burns, it's working or something like that. It means it works. It's working. It's magic. Same thing goes for keeping still. It's gonna take some time to be still. But you have to give yourself that time. Where you gonna go? Where you gonna leave this body? You only have time. You only got your whole life to figure yourself out. The longer you take to figure yourself out, the longer it takes to find direction, purpose, meaning. When you find meaning and purpose, that's where your joy lies. Many people don't want to live because they feel like they have no purpose. You destroy something if you don't know how to use it. You get rid of something when you don't understand its value. They say one man's trash is another man's treasure. This man didn't see his value, threw it away. Another man was like, dang, somebody threw this thing away? Same goes with yourself. When you go out and drink and all this type of stuff, that's avoidance. That's you running away from yourself. Somebody was like, somebody, listen, somebody who doesn't have, doesn't seem to have not one original thought, had seemingly quoted themselves and said, invest in yourself so others can invest in you. But that they are too ahead of themselves. I understand you want to take other people's quotes and all this type of stuff. You seek motivation and you find you have to learn things where you're at. Stop worrying about people spending money on you and investing in you and all this type of spoiling you and all this type of stuff. You have to like yourself. How do you start to like yourself? By spending time with yourself. Just you alone with yourself. Because if you don't like you, who else would want to be around you? Start with liking yourself first. It's like going on a date, vetting yourself. I don't like that thought. Oh, I don't like when I do this. Oh, I noticed that I keep doing this. Why do I keep doing that? Oh, that's because when I was this age, when my parents would do this, I would do that. Really live with yourself. Be okay with being alone. Being alone is not a bad thing, especially when you enjoy your own company. And then when you're a party of one, somebody would, hey, it looks pretty fun over there. I wonder, what girls say? Oh, why they around her so much? Why they hanging around her? Why they talking to her? Why she smiling like that? What's so funny? How she dancing by herself? Man, she went on a date with herself. Oh, that looks pretty good. What she eating? That looks pretty good. That looks like a good time. She looks like a good time. Not in no sense where it's you only look like a good time for one night, but you look like a good time for a life. I would want to wake up with somebody like that. I would want to live with somebody like that. I would want to spend time with somebody like that. I wouldn't mind uh, sharing parenthood with somebody like that. In order for somebody to be interested in you, you have to be interested. You have to be interested in yourself. How do you become interested in yourself? Seek things that you're interested in. Dive deep in things that you're interested in. If you're multi-passionate, then dive deep in your passions. If you have one or two passions, then dive deep in those things. Why are you all the way over there? Because society said so. That don't make no sense. Oh, society said do this, but I don't like that. So, oh, I go to work every day and hate my life because society said so. Because that makes a whole lot of sense. You're gonna be miserable and hate your life because everybody else is doing it. Didn't your mama ever run that line past you? Oh, if your friend jumped off a cliff, would you do it? Well, if they had a bungee cord, then yes. And if they can't back up, then of course, looks fun. But for real, literally, you have your whole life to find what brings you joy. Why not start right now? The best time was to start yesterday. The second best is today, right now, while you still have the time to do so. Got all this free time. Clearly, you have all this free time because you choose to avoid yourself by going to the club, which you could have skipped every week. Oh, what do you do at the club? Really? What do you do at the club but get drunk, dance to music with a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of strangers in a room with a whole bunch of strangers drunk to stumble off to home at 3 a.m. All that time you've been at the club, you spend 5 6 hours at the club, listen to the same song that they play on the radio or the same song that they play at every club every week. You don't get bored of doing the same thing, but you get bored of yourself. Interesting. Interesting. You're bored of yourself, but you don't mind doing boring stuff. That's boring. Listen to the same music. You don't feel like just like that don't drive you crazy. Clearly it don't if you do it every week for the past few years. You do the same thing. But because you're out of your mind, you gotta be out of your mind. You gotta what's that thing? Pour it up, drink it up. Don't give a f. I don't know. Take a shot. You don't even enjoy the drink. Did you know in order to appreciate liquor, you have to allow it to sit on your tongue, but you take a shot, throw it back because it makes you drunk faster. You don't even truly know how to enjoy life. Fast culture. Why take the scenic road if you're gonna speed through it? If you're not even gonna enjoy the view? Why take the scenic route if you're not gonna take time to enjoy the view? If things hit the fan for you, it's because you didn't know how to prioritize important things. It's because you didn't want to listen. It's because you didn't want to learn. You wanted to compete. It's because you didn't want to take your time, slow down, and heal or pay attention. You didn't want to pay attention. You didn't want to slow down. You didn't want to take your time. You didn't want to heed the warnings. You didn't want to do anything of importance. You wanted to avoid everything. You want to get into stuff that most likely ain't got nothing to do with you. It doesn't seem like you have a authentic stream of thought. Oh, you did this because your boyfriend did this. Oh, you did this because she's doing it and I want to do it because or whatever. It look good. It looks good when she does it, but it's not meant for you. So why you doing it? They say that a lot of women compete for sex appeal or whatever, compete for attention. He wants to make love to her and be with her and have lay her down and give her kids. So I'm gonna do exactly what she does. So he's gonna want me to. No, your energy doesn't align. You can't do what I'm doing, and I'm on the straight path. And you're trying to step in my lane, but you haven't even dealt with your foundational attributes. You haven't even dealt with the things that are basic level. You gotta deal with that first. Deal with the important things first. Find what's important to you, which really takes slowing down. Honestly, you can miss a lot about yourself if you're always going, staying busy, going out, hanging out with your friends, talk about nothing every day, taking on the thoughts, the opinions, the critiques and advice and all that type of stuff. You don't give yourself enough time to think for yourself. You can blame your parents or whatever, or you can take responsibility for your own life. People can wonder why, oh, why her? Because it's not the looks, it's not the body or whatever. It might be young in there that could have caught his eye at first, but who I am kept him around. Who I am kept him interested. And then I'm interested in myself. I I'm always learning. I don't stop learning. I studied the brain when I was in high school because I can, because I felt like it. My teacher gave us a project. The project was to do a project on anything that interests you. I think she gave us layout, and we had to follow that layout. You have to do an analysis, a hypothesis, come up with the data, and present. And it could be on anything, literally anything. I'm like, bet. That was my favorite project because I studied the brain. I studied the effects of sugar on the brain. I learned that coffee was bad for you and sugar was horrible. Horrible. Talk about drugs. Look, listen. I don't master sugar at all. I don't want sugar in my drink, my food. I have to I'm in the store reading the ingredients, making sure they ain't got no sugar in it. And if I can't find something that ain't got sugar in it or gum, I'm gonna make my own. I'm real tempted to buy coconuts. I live on an island. I think I know how to get a coconut or know a place that grows coconuts or know how to climb a tree or something. But I'm gonna buy a coconut. I'm really feeling like buying coconuts and making my own coconut milk. I could find coconut water with no sugar. But anyways, I did a project on the brain. Around that time, I learned that the brain doesn't forget, or the mind doesn't forget, because of a less neuroplasticity. Is either neuroplasticity or neuroelasticity that allows you to learn a limited amount. I mean, an unlimited amount of information. You learn every day and still have enough space in your mind to learn new information. Especially if you work that muscle out, you can still learn at an old age. It won't be difficult for you to learn new things when you age because you've sharpened that part of your mind. And your brain creates new fields the more you learn. Once I learned that, I learned every day. And I've been learning every day since then. So I can about talk about anything, and if I can't talk about it, I'm I'm still got a curious way about me where if somebody brings up something I don't know about, I'm curious to know more about it. And who doesn't like talking about what they like talking about? I can simply be an interesting person because I'm interested in that person. I'm interested in who I'm talking to. I make that person feel important, special, because I want to know more about what they know. Tell me more. What? No way. I didn't know. And I sincerely be impressed or curious or amazed or interested. Sincerely, I'm sincerely interested in what you're talking about. Even if I don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes it's like a blessing or a blessing and a curse. Sometimes people be telling you stuff. It's like, dang, now I'm gonna sit here. I wanted to leave, but now I'm gonna sit here and listen to this person because I don't know. Sometimes people just want to talk to you. Okay, maybe I need to hear this. Maybe we need to be sitting here having this conversation. maybe I need to hear this right now. What the saying? Can I apply it to my life? One time there was a lady at this cashier telling me a story about her mama because I was buying a can opener, and she started telling me a story about her mama and how she moved out and was independent, and I had just moved out. I had just moved out, and I wasn't really in a good space with my mama. And she was telling me about her mama. So I was so like, Lord, I don't want to hear none of this. I'm like, can you just check up? I didn't say nothing. I was just like, look, listen, I don't need you to tell me about you need to love your mama. Like, listen. She was like, I moved out, was independent. I felt like I was on top of the world or whatever. And I had bought canned food, but I had no can opener. And I started crying and boiling. So she was saying, I started crying and and she was like, "Oh, I'm independent, but I didn't even think to buy a can opener. This and next. I never learned to appreciate my mama." And then I'm like, man, is there a point to this story? I'm like, so what did you do? She was like, I bought a can opener. I'm like, thank you. That's all I needed to hear. Look, listen. Sometimes you may not want to hear what they're talking about, but at the end of the day, it may be what you need to hear. And because I understand this, I was willing to listen to what she was saying, even though I weren't feeling none of what she was saying at first. You know, sometimes people find you interesting just because you find them interesting. You could be, you can know nothing and just, and don't just, you know, go through the motions and just nod and not listen. Actually take in the information. Retain that information. Because one day you might need it. Oh, how's your back doing? How's your sibling? How's your brother? How's your mama? Everything went well. Be 2 years later. Oh yeah! And they feel important because you remembered something that they may not have thought as important, but because you remembered it, it's like wow, they really care. People want to feel like you care. But if y'all heard using people and that person was actually important or whatever, you're using them, you're gonna lose them. You're not thoroughly, sincerely interested in that person. You just want them to get you stuff. Okay, yeah, give me money. I don't care what you're saying. And then you start working hard, you start putting in effort when you feel like you're gonna lose this person. Technically, you already lost them. You lost them a long time ago. It's too late. You weren't paying attention. You was focusing on the wrong things. You wanted to avoid your reality. You wanted your reward now. You wanted your reward now. Chasing lights, cameras, glitter, fame. You know, the biggest changes aren't big changes. The small changes over time. The small changes over time that end up making a big difference. It's called compounding. Saying all that to say, I don't want to tell you that I told you so, so I won't. I'm pretty sure you feel it, you see it, you know, you may have to grieve. I'm not sure how long. I'm not sure for how long. You know, you have to go through all the stages of grief, denial. You might already be going through that. Denial. What were the other ones? Acceptance. Is that the last one? And while you go through this grief, pretty sure you're gonna try and make things right. Try to get what's rightfully yours. But you don't want to make any real change in order to keep what you think is yours. People aren't toys. Just can't drop them when you want, pick them up when you want. People have free will. If they don't want to stay there, they don't have to. Especially if it's just for your image, so you could look good in front of your friends and family. That's not fair that's not fair. That's not right. That's very selfish. It's not even love. It's for something shallow and superficial. You know, it's only worse because you made it public. You try to put on this facade publicly. Oop. It's only worse because you made it public. No, your lashes have to be public. No, your consequences have to be public. No, you have to be outed publicly. And that's something that you brought on yourself. And brought onto yourself. You mess with the right ones. You mess with the right ones. And this will only make sense when everything unfolds. I'm not gonna feel like addressing this when it all unfolds. So you're gonna have to come back to this video to catch up. I like to deal with things ahead of time because I want to focus on what I need to focus on when I'm focusing on it. I've got too much going on in my real life to be focusing on this stuff. And I'm not gonna feel like catching you guys up. Like this is somebody's life. These are two people's real life. These are two people's real life. Some people want too much information. Business that ain't got nothing to do with you. And because of who he is and how much eyes are already on him, I have to do my due diligence to make sure that I'm covered on my end. Because people like to judge and make up all these stories and go with one side, one narrative, and all this type of stuff, and it can get chaotic and wild. And some people, the innocent ones, could end up getting treated unfairly because of misunderstandings. And I'm not the type to speak on something that ain't got nothing to do with people. Why would I go around trying to prove myself to a bunch of people who don't matter? You weren't in any relationship. You weren't there. Why should I explain why the relationship ended and whose fault it is and all this type of stuff to you? And while we still together, who am I in a relationship with? Why do you need to know that information? For what? What are you gonna do with that information, honestly? I don't know if it's obvious, but I've had to deal with this one too many times to continue to make the same mistakes. I'm not gonna feel like explaining when it's happening, cause it's personal, nobody's business. I don't care to explain. I don't care to prove myself. Things, but I have to do things differently. This is on a larger scale. It's on a larger scale, and there are some people who have already peeped how sketchy things occur. There was one person who came out with a video, and she was right to some extent. She was right to some extent. It's understandable because the energy's off. You were right the first time. Don't let social media fool you. You was right the first time. And then her mama, like, you're a grown woman. Imagine that. Like, that's her mama. Her mama was like, something about you ain't got no followers. Oh, I see why you ain't got no followers or something like that. What, man? You're a grown woman. You're a grown woman. Act like it. I see why your daughter's that way. Absolutely shameful. I'd be damned if my mama comes up and embarrasses me. Just show some restraint. Show some restraint when it comes to social media and the urge to comment under somebody's page. She probably knows something. That's why she's acting up like that. That's why she was trying too hard in the comments. Cause how she how she was talking to his mama was sketchy. Like how her mama was talking to his mama was sketchy. Cause it's like, why you kissing tail? Like you talk too much. You're saying too much. No modesty, no elegance, no allure. And you're her role model? But anyways, I don't have too much to say about the situation like that because the truth is being exposed to me too. And I know it's like, it's not what you think and all type of stuff. And I just didn't know what to think, so I'm glad that he's a great communicator. I'm glad he's a great communicator, you know, because it puts my heart and my mind at ease. And I'm glad that his taking the ropes and his dealing with that situation so that I don't have to, and I could just focus on my knitting. I can just focus on my quilt. I can focus on my business or whatever I'm doing. I can just focus on what I'm got to focus on over on this side and not even deal with none of that. Like that is not my problem. That is not my problem. That's not my business. It's not my problem. That's not my relationship. Listen, do what you gotta do. And do what you gotta do. And I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know, really, all I have to focus on is making myself happy. And literally, is is my my femininity. All I have to focus on is feeding my feminine side, my femininity, my health, my fitness, my happiness, because I am his peace. That means I have to be at peace. I'm going to work on myself, you know, work on my knowledge. Now, I have a book page where I post a bunch of books on Instagram. And I have a bunch of books that I'm excited about, but they are the type of books that you don't like, the type of books that you want to gatekeep, because not everybody can get a hold of this information. Like I said, I'm all over the place. I learn it on a daily basis. I feed my interest. I'm multi-passionate. You can't ask me where I got that information. I don't know. I hold on to the information, not the citation. But the author, even the publication company, the type of books and the type of authors they put on. Oh my goodness. It's just the type of things that I want to gatekeep. No, I'll put on a certain books. I'll put on certain books, but not all of them. Not all of them. I'll put on my books. I'm writing a book right now. I can't say what it's about. Writing a book, making a quilt. What else? Oh, and really narrowing down my brand. Still narrowing down my brand. My goodness. So I decided I was just gonna focus on Queenshipt. I do have Queenshipt, and I do love the idea for Queenshipt, but if it gets big, or when it gets big, I wouldn't be motivated or inspired or driven to pay that company any mind. Like, I built out Kingship so somebody else can deal with it. So somebody else could manage it. It's a great idea. It's a great business. It's a great framework. It's just I'm not gonna have the capacity to build it out. So yeah, it's gonna need a man. It's gonna need a lot of masculine energy in order to build it out. So I'm just focusing on queenship because that's more me. You know, everything queenship is everything that I am, and it's so vast because I'm multi passionate, because I'm multi talented, because I'm multifaceted. So queenship is just an outlet for me to openly express myself and all that type of stuff. To me, to put out stuff, not what I knit, not what I crochet. That's mine. You can't have that. Y'all can't have this. If I come out with like clothes and all that type of stuff that I've knitted or crocheted, it's mine. Don't even ask me, because the answer's gonna be no. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm always selling something. Whether it's my waterproofing bags with the lanyard and the arm strap, or a portable fan, which I don't have on me right now, or my art, or whatever. Yeah, I can show you one of my pieces that I've already finished. Whether it's my art or whatever. That's that's gonna be on queenship. I'm gonna be putting a lot of what I do, a lot of what I create through Queenshipt. This is gonna be my Queenshipt is gonna be my artist economy. And Queenshipt is something that I wouldn't mind traveling for, because I want to do a lot of things, like even like perfumery. That's something that I'm interested in, because I'm interested in science, business, finances, art, literally, sports, literally, music, and learning different languages. But I don't know about that one. I'm a bit older now, so I know it's language is just so, it's like I was learning Arabic, and it's like, dang, a lot. There's a lot. Arabic was my second language that I learned in primary school, but I left that primary school early, so being able to write in Arabic and all that type of stuff is a lost skill. I probably know more Spanish than I know Arabic. Spanish was my third language that I learned, and then there was French, and then it was German, and then sign language, English sign language. But I only know Ja, Nein, Hota Kleppe, Ich liebe dich in German. That's it. Yes, no, shut up, and I love you. Oh my goodness. And if I ever go past the introduction phase, if I ever go past the introduction phase, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. Was it? No, yes, say or speak. I think this is sorry or sorry. One of these is mom and dad. I think this is like the sun down or sun up. But yeah, hi, my name is Jakina. Jiqena. After the introduction phase, I don't know what to say. Just, oh my goodness. It's so bad. I know. It's so bad. But because I've slowed down, I've gotten back with knitting. And this is what I mean. Like, he has picked up the masculine role. That competitive energy, that's masculine. Like, you can keep all of that. You can keep all that energy. I was thinking about making a sweater, because I bought all this yarn. Come to find out, I bought the wrong yarn. I already took it out the package. So I started thinking like, okay, now how I'm gonna use this thing? It's a whole lot of yarn. It's a big thing of yarn. But I gotta make my quilt first, and then I'm gonna think about other things. I picked up this delicious book, like I was saying. Well, listen, so I don't know how I'm gonna do the books, cause I wanna share the books that I'm into, but I have to be careful now. I'm got stalkers. I can't just be out here giving away all the sauce. Imagine if Mr. Crab, imagine if Mr. Crab was like, you know what, Plankton? The Krusty Krab secret pet, Krusty Krab. Cool. Oh, the Krusty Krab Krabby Patty secret ingredient is, or the recipe, the secret recipe is, take the recipe, take it all. Here's the recipe book to all my whole menu. Imagine if Mr. Krabs was like that. And then to give it to Plankton out of all people, the guy who's trying to destroy his company, destroy his business, and steal his Krabby Patty formula. Her Plankton, just her. Look, listen. And then what Plankton's gonna do? Steal the Krabby Patty formula, sabotage Mr. Krabs so he can go out of business, so that he could take all the customers. What I look like? Hmm? What I look like? SpongeBob. No, 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 no. What I look like? Patrick, you must take me as a fool. Oh, goodness. You must take me as a fool. What? Okay. Just looked a little bit off. No, what y'all getting into these days? I'm been getting into Netflix. I just finished watching Warrior Nun. Just finished watching Warrior Nun. I like how the episode names are the chapters in the Bible, or the Jewish Bible. But yeah, you gotta be careful here. You gotta make sure you think ahead, move strategically, position yourself according to the outcome that you seek. Listen to your intuition, and don't just think ahead, but plan. Plan for success. Plan like you've already, like say you were a hoarder, but you changed your whole life. You gotta take time to get rid of all that stuff. Get rid of all these stuff so you can bring in new. Can't start anew when you haven't even cleaned out your house. How you supposed to bring in that new couch when you got all these books and newspapers and and dishes and clothes everywhere, and all these other stuff, other items all over the place. Gotta clean it up. Some people be hoarding energy. You got these energy vampires, people who can't think for themselves, holding on to people just because, oh, you are a resource to me. You are a resource of information. You're where I get all my ideas. You're where I I have a hard time with finding motivation and amuse. Amuse is somebody who inspires people. Muse means to inspire. You have a hard time being inspired, so you need to hold on to this person who's self motivated and can think for themselves, so that they can motivate you, so that they can give you ideas. Then you become dependent and incapable of developing or creating this for yourself, developing motivation for yourself, creating ideas for yourself. Your brain is supposed to create ideas. That's its function. So if you always rely, you're overly dependent on people for ideas, that means your brain is dysfunctional. It's not fully operational, or it's out of order. Good luck with that. No, I'm gonna have to say bye. I'm gonna have to come out with an outro. No, Queens. I hope that you gain something from this conversation, that you learn something from this conversation. Or hustlers, stalkers, whatever have you. What I want to say is kick rocks barefooted. I hope you kick a rock barefooted. But I'm gonna give you grace. I can't say the same for the Lord, because the vengeance is whose? I'm chilling, because this is what I do. You deserve to be scattered and scrambling to find to find a leg up. To gain a leg up, you deserve to be scrambling to always find a leg up. To use my blueprint to be better than me. And never find motivation. Never find your way. You end up reaping what you sowed. Nothing. What did you sow? What did you sow? You end up reaping what you sowed. Mind you, we are both farmers, and we both reaped what we sowed. You're getting exposed and I'm getting love. Same person, different outcome. I wonder why. No, I'm gonna have to see you off, ladies or gentlemen. I wish you a good day. I wish you a good night. I hope you enjoy, because this may become very rare. me being open like this. Like I said, I don't share my business. If this wasn't so public, I wouldn't be going public. I don't advertise these right now because this information can get out before it's too soon, before it's time. This video can go up before it's time. I can't advertise this yet. Maybe later I will. And hopefully you learn the bigger picture from me. Not just these little conversations, but the action behind what I'm doing. Look at the date of when I posted this. Look how everything unfolded. If it's yours from now, think ahead. How far ahead was this? It takes practice to put your mind in a state where you think ahead and you execute presently so that you get your fruit yours from now, from the seed that you planted today. This will make sense to people who's ready to hurt. But let me go. I wish you a good day, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are going through the same thing, what does your intuition say? The person that you want to be with, what are they doing and what are they saying? Don't listen to the noise. Pay attention to what matters the most. And I'll be seeing you another time. Peace.